Detective Chris Connolly with the Inyo County Sheriff's Office. I'm here to address a little bit more of the press release that my agency has released in regards to the homicide that occurred on 2/12 of 24 in the Bishop area. We did make an arrest. It was Bishop resident Brian Stange. He is placed in custody for the homicide of David Miller.
So in a small town like this, where obviously this kind of thing does not happen that often, how does an investigation of this type work?
When we get an investigation of this nature, specifically a homicide, there's a lot of moving parts, obviously, in an investigation like this, specifically in Inyo County and the smaller areas, the rural areas of the state of California. We do have resources within our agency that we utilize, crime scene investigations. We also have an investigation network with the cooperation of Bishop Police Department, District Attorney's Office, California Highway Patrol. We even reach out to Mono County on instances like this to kind of branch out our investigation network, because other agencies and other investigators have specialties that they were trained for. So we kind of reach out. It's almost like, you put the information out and say, hey, we need all hands on deck for this type of investigation, whether it be homicide or any other big type of major investigation. But with a homicide investigation like this, a lot of the evidence that we gain is not necessarily done at that time. We have resources through DOJ, California DOJ, that we utilize. Their offices are in Fresno. So a lot of our regional offices that we could send evidence, digital evidence, cell phone towers, all that kind of stuff takes time to gather. So it's a whole, there's more people involved than just maybe 3 investigators on scene. So behind the scenes and our other resources that we have through the state of California and other counties, we reach out to immediately.
So a lot of times in these types of situations, you'll get a lot of public, why are the cops doing something? Why isn't this happening? What's taking so long? A lot of it is because of that. You have to wait for the evidence to come back from Fresno.
Right, 100%. And to keep integrities of the case, we don't want to put out false information or information that we don't concretely have, whether it be solidified electronic information, cell phone records. A lot of this stuff that we see is integral, a part of any investigation where it's the evidence that you don't see. The evidence on the ground, the evidence on the scene, we can handle that. It's the stuff that's there for the taking, but we have to take our steps. You have to write search warrants. You can't just arbitrarily grab things. So once that evidence comes, we reach out to our partners in the state and other counties for assistance. We don't have a crime lab here. A lot of big agencies, sheriff's departments and cities have their own crime lab 15 minutes away, where they can process, and they have personnel that can take that evidence, physical evidence, process it, and have information readily available within 24 hours. We don't have that ability. Most of our evidence that we have on scene, blood, DNA, firearms, anything with, even fingerprints. We can't take the fingerprints back to our magical lab that we don't have here and have, this person's fingerprints match up with that. It's a database. We have the CSI paradox, where everybody believes that in 45 minutes, we can be on scene, have somebody in custody, and type a few things up, and our evidence comes. We all understand that. We know that doesn't happen.
That doesn't work in New York. It's not going to work.
It doesn't work in Las Vegas either, contrary to popular belief. But what has to happen is we have to, analog all this evidence, then send it off. And the labs that we send to, for example, Fresno, they are inundated with Madera County, Fresno Sheriff's Office, cities all around that bring that DOJ lab there too. So that takes time. When your evidence is at the bottom of the list, they'll get through it, and we're in contact with them. They reach out to us, we reach out to them. But it's not right across the road. It's not 45 minutes away, by the way the maps are. So it takes some time, it takes effort to get that evidence over there and even travel over there. Myself, I was in Fresno this week regarding this homicide case. So it does take a lot of time.
And just because we're smaller here, it doesn't mean that we're any less important than, like, say, Madera County. We're just in line.
We're in line.
So
Yeah.
when you get to the queue, you're in the queue.
Yeah. And it is, and we can, and they're really good at, hey, we need this evidence. They understand the importance and the gravity of a homicide case. They understand that, and it's just reaching out, and they're willing to work with us, and we understand where they're coming from. But what happens there is now that time builds up, and we don't just sit around waiting for that. There's other things that we as investigators in this county are working on in the meantime. There's way more things that we can be doing, and that's what we are doing.
Perfect. Okay, so I know what everybody wants to know, and I know there's not a lot that can get out there because, like we were just saying, you can't compromise the case by giving out, because this isn't locked and done. This is an arrest made.
Right.
But there's still a lot of process to this. But I know what people do want to know is, how did you guys get to the point of arrest of Mr. Stange?
So early on in the investigation after the homicide, obviously, we went right to work at gathering information and utilizing our evidence, talking with people in the area, witnesses. This is the basic police work, if you will. There's a lot of information coming. There's fingers pointing in all directions. So our investigators, what we do is we kind of break that down. You take your time, you develop this information, you talk to people, see what they see or what they didn't see. Sometimes evidence is given it to us. But early on in this case, they talk about the first 48 hours of a homicide being the most critical to get information. And with the first 48 hours, we developed credible evidence and credible information that we identified a person of interest at this time, which was Mr. Stange. We identified him as a person of interest within the first 48 hours, which we don't focus on. We still branch out. There's other things that we need to check the box. You go where the evidence leads you. So that's what we did. We were going in all different directions. We had some names, and we were following those leads. And on February 21st, the night before the arrest, we gathered substantial information from a confidential person that proved the evidence we'd already have gathered, that proved that, okay, this is the big break that we've been waiting for. That information led to Mr. Stange, and at that point, the next day, we made the arrest based on probable cause to arrest Mr. Stange for homicide.
What are the next steps after this?
We're not done.
Yeah.
We're absolutely not done. You look beyond the arrest. There is still a lot of work, and it is an open investigation. I'm not going to comment on the work that we have to do because it is a court case now. There are rights. There are things that we just can't jeopardize the investigation or even a conviction. Obviously, the investigation, the arrest, we're looking for that conviction, and that's what we're still working on. So our investigators are still out there working this and gathering more information as deemed necessary for a conviction in this case.
But enough was given for the arrest. Now it's to continue to work until you have
Absolutely.
Absolute rock solid. This is
right. And cool. Yeah, so the information comes in and we follow it, and we got the information that we needed to have the probable cause, which is enough evidence to believe that somebody did commit a crime. We've got that, and that's where we effected the arrest.
Okay. Last question I wanted to ask. A lot of other news agencies, as well as people online on different Facebook groups and subgroups and things like that, were really pointing fingers at, not be named, but a certain individual that lived on the same street and was in a fight with this guy and stuff. Is there anything that you tell the public about that? Like, maybe don't go, you know what I mean?
Right, and that's where you get leads.
Yeah.
That's where people, in any investigation, with law enforcement being open, and there's crime novels, there's, Dateline, all these things that you can watch to see how homicide investigations are done. And 9 times out of 10, it's somebody they know at that, that's understandable. Or, hey, there's a problem with the neighbor saw something, or somebody down the street, or they didn't like this. So those leads are followed. The finger pointing is it's just a part of, hey, we've got this information. So we don't ignore that. We follow those leads, and a lot of times, in cases like this, we're not going to give the public any information, good or bad, to involve our investigation. So a lot of that, it comes with social media, it comes with a lot of stuff, and you can get good information from these leads, or for, hey, we didn't know that. but it is meticulous. We have to follow where the evidence is going, and to exonerate or to prove is we're looking at everything.
Yeah, and in this situation, to prove that it wasn't this person was just as important as proving that it was somebody else, because that, yeah.
Yeah, you want to exonerate, because then what you can do is you can cross that off the list of all the evidence that we're looking at are persons of interest. When you get substantial information to confirm or deny, that's what you do. You know, it's confirmed. Okay, we have evidence that this person had nothing to do with it, or this person might have had something to do with it. But then again, we're not going to release that because that's part of the ongoing investigation.
Perfect. Okay, is there anything else you'd like to say to the public?
We wanted to let the public know that with law enforcement agencies, Bishop Police Department, Highway Patrol, what we have here in Bishop and Inyo County is a collaborative effort. We all work together, all the law enforcement agencies, we all work together. It's for the same purpose. And you have a lot of men and women in all these departments. We spent tirelessly, going over evidence, not being able to go home to our families at that time because we're so dedicated into this. And it's not just this case. There's other pending cases that we are working diligently on. And sometimes things don't happen as fast as we want them to or as the general public wants them to. And that's the problem that we face, and that's what we take home with us. And rest assured that the very next morning you get a couple hours of sleep, we're back on the job. We all love what we do. To serve our public and everybody around it, to have this beautiful area that we call home. We want it safe, just as much as the public does. We would rather not have to deal with these kind of things, but it's part of the job, and we understand, the community's awareness and dependency on us at the Sheriff's Department. We totally understand that, and we're here to do that. So it just takes time sometimes, but rest assured, we're here to help out and to do what's right and to help everybody out. And we appreciate your patience, and we appreciate your support.
Absolutely. And for our viewers, is there some place that they can contact, or if you have any information about this case or something else relevant?
Right. So any further information, like I said, we're not done with this or any other information. It's always on our press releases, specific cases. You can call the numbers listed on there through dispatch option 4. Leave a message. We do have a tip line set up inside our computer-aided dispatch. So if you talk to a dispatcher and just want to leave a tip, you can get that information to dispatch, and it'll come down to the investigations as well. So any information, we're still obviously, compiling a lot of things, but reach out. If you see something, say something.
All right. Sergeant, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, sir.